UK coronavirus alert level to be raised from 3 to 4. Northern Ireland bans mixing indoors. Matt Hancock announces childcare exemption to local lockdowns in England. UK cases rise by 4,368, second highest daily total since early May. Raising of UK COVID alert level opens door to major restrictions. Lockdowns in 4 more areas of Wales as cases rise. Witty, UK could see 200 deaths a day by November. Scottish ministers considering strict new COVID rules, leak reveals. Global coronavirus updates, live. Summary. The UK has turned a corner for the worse and is on course for up to 50,000 new daily cases of COVID-19 by mid-October, which could lead to 200 deaths a day by the following month, the government's chief scientific and medical advisors have warned. A few hours after their briefing, the COVID alert level was raised for the first time since the system was introduced in the spring. It is now back up at level 4, meaning transmission is high or rising exponentially. C. 5:44 p.m. The statements seem intended to ready the public for an announcement from Boris Johnson tomorrow, which is expected to see restrictions tightened in some way at a national level, not just locally as has been the case in recent weeks. Johnson will chair Cabinet and a meeting of Cobra before announcing the measures in the Commons in the early afternoon. Today he spoke to the First Ministers of Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland in advance of the decision. Afterwards, Number 10 put out a statement saying the PM and the First Ministers had all agreed to act with a united approach, as much as possible, in the days and weeks ahead. And Nicola Sturgeon, who will make her own announcement tomorrow, posted this on Twitter. Scottish ministers are considering far-reaching restrictions to combat the surge in COVID cases, including local lockdowns linked to school holidays next month, travel restrictions, closing play parks and shutting down hairdressers, a leak has revealed. About a quarter of the Welsh population will be subject to local lockdowns after sharp rises in COVID-19 cases triggered restrictions in 4 new areas. Arlene Foster, the First Minister of Northern Ireland, has announced everyone in the region will now be covered by a ban on mixing in other people's homes. Matt Hancock, the Health Secretary, has announced that in England there will be an exemption for childcare from local lockdown measures. C. 3:46 p.m. He also announced how people will be prioritised for testing. C. 4:59 p.m. Coverage continues on our Global Coronavirus Live blog. It's here. Pamela Duncan. The news that all people in Northern Ireland are to be banned from visiting each other's homes will bring to 15.4 meters the number of people under some level of restriction in the UK from tomorrow. The announcement, which follows on from that from Wales that 4 new areas are to be brought under local lockdown, means that 23.1% of the UK population will be under curbs. More than a quarter of the population of Wales, 27%, is now under local lockdown, and a third of the population of Scotland reside in the 7 local authority areas still covered by lockdown restrictions. In England from tomorrow, those living in Merseyside, Warrington, Holton, Wolverhampton and Oadby and Wigston will all be under restrictions, while the rules are being extended to cover all parts of Bradford. Kirklees and Calderdale and those living in Lancashire County Council area will face local lockdown. This excludes Blackpool. This is equivalent to 10.9 meters people in England, or 1 in 6. Statement from Chief Medical Officers explaining decision to raise COVID alert level. Here is the full statement from the Chief Medical Officers of England, Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland on the decision to raise the alert level. The Joint Biosecurity Centre has recommended that the COVID-19 alert level should move from level 3, a COVID-19 epidemic is in general circulation, to level 4, a COVID-19 epidemic is in general circulation, transmission is high or rising exponentially. The CMOs for England, Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland have reviewed the evidence and recommend all 4 nations of the UK should move to level 4. After a period of lower COVID cases and deaths, the number of cases are now rising rapidly and probably exponentially in significant parts of all 4 nations. If we are to avoid significant excess deaths and exceptional pressure in the NHS and other health services over the autumn and winter, everyone has to follow the social distancing guidance, wear face coverings correctly and wash their hands regularly. We know this will be a concerning news for many people. Please follow the rules, look after each other, and together we will get through this. The UK was placed at alert level 4 when the system was introduced in May. In June the alert level was lowered to 3. COVID alert level should be raised, say Chief Medical Officers, meaning threat increasing. PA Media has snapped this. The Joint Biosecurity Centre has recommended the COVID-19 alert level for the UK be increased to level 4, meaning transmission of the virus is high or rising exponentially, the UK's Chief Medical Officers have said. That is the first time the alert level has been raised, not lowered, since the system was set up in May. Owen Bocott. 8 more emergency, Nightingale courts have been announced to tackle the backlog of cases, including one that will operate in a Salford theatre. 2 of the new courts will be housed in hotels in Middlesbrough and York, the Justice Secretary, Robert Buckland, has confirmed. The other 5 will be in Chester, Liverpool, Bristol, Winchester and Cirencester. Their precise locations have yet to be revealed. When fully operational, there will be 17 extra court buildings holding socially distanced hearings in an effort to ensure that the justice system can continue to operate during the pandemic. Buckland said. This is yet another important step in our recovery plan thanks to the hard work of everyone working in our system, with the number of outstanding cases in magistrates' courts now falling as a result of the measures we have introduced. But we must keep going if we are to get our courts back up to speed. These additional 16 courtrooms will further boost our efforts to increase capacity, reducing delays and delivering speedier justice for all. Earlier this summer the Ministry of Justice announced an £80 million funding boost for HIM Courts and Tribunal Service (HMCTS) to deal with problems caused by the pandemic. The MOJ says magistrates' courts are now seeing the number of outstanding cases falling. Plexiglass screens are being fitted in 300 courtrooms and jury deliberation rooms to enable them to operate jury trials safely. Labour's Shadow Justice Secretary, David Lammy, has called for faster delivery of emergency courtroom capacity. Some lawyers point out that an austerity programme, which closed hundreds of courts after 2010, deprived the justice system of the necessary flexibility to respond to the crisis.